suggested that it doesn't matter how thin you slice it, there's two sides to every story, to every opinion, to everything that happens. And I'm in the kitchen where, when it comes to food and nutrition and supplementation, there's so many opinions, and people will argue, they'll fight for their opinion. But does that mean that they're right? I have an opinion, you have an opinion, we all have the right to believe in something, but does that make us, well, does that make it the truth? We believe we're right and the other person believes they're right, but does that mean that it's true? And as an old lady, and something that I deal with every day, and one of the big regrets I have in my life, is that I didn't start my life with this philosophy, which is don't believe anything, Rowie. I was indoctrinated, taught, learned, brainwashed, whatever you want to call it, because I was brought up in a religious environment. I've been in the exercise profession all of my life. And I think there's a lot of brainwashing and a lot of manipulation that goes on to get us to believe stuff. And I share that. I'm not bitter and twisted about that. I just wish that I had asked more questions. Because most of the things that I believed, most of the things that I thought were true, I think need more questions. There are so many things, particularly when it comes to food and exercise, of course, but whether it's parenting or financial situations or relationships or how to build a house or what's happening in the government or what's happening in the world or what's happening with the medical profession, it seems that we are bombarded with a lot of information, but is it true? So it's interesting because the world has changed obviously dramatically, because I'm an old lady. One of the things that has taken over the world is social media influencers. People who earn literally millions and millions and millions of dollars trying to influence us, but what are they really trying to do? They're trying to sell us something. So if you see something on social media, and this is a classic example, because I have a lot to do with social media. I've got a business college, so I teach people all about marketing and selling yourself and being attractive to the world and how to have a successful business, which means you have to be involved in social media. The two things about social media influencing that I think we all need to be aware of. We can be influenced if we hear something over and over and over and over. But is it possible that the people that want to get a message across will then send that message out to the major social media influencers, who then repeat that same message, and then we believe it because we've heard it so many times, we think it's true. One of my favorite quotes, and I did learn this quote a very long time ago, that 50 million people doing a stupid thing doesn't mean that it's not a stupid thing. There's 7-8 billion people in the world. If everybody's doing something stupid, it doesn't mean that it's not stupid. It just means that we're following the crowd. The second thing about social media that I think is really interesting is we do follow the crowd, because we look at the number of subscribers, we look at the number of likes, we look at the number of comments, we look at the number of, or we look at the comments, how many are there and are they positive or negative. And would it be interesting, and I would love to see this, that social media didn't have those numbers attached to it? What if you didn't know how many subscribers somebody had and you didn't know how many times that video had been watched? Would there be so much money involved now in social media influencing? Because our kids, and I'm an adult, I get to choose what I eat, I get to choose what I wear, what music I listen to, and I like to make my own choices. But our kids now are bombarded with, brainwashed by, indoctrinated with so much information, they actually think it's true, even though the person that's saying it is being paid to say it and being paid lots and lots of money. So what if we did this, and this is just a solution to that whole challenge. And it sounds very negative coming from such a positive lady, but for me it's made my life so very, very simple. I don't believe anything. I don't believe anybody or anything until, and even then, it's still open for discussion. I always follow the money. Who's being paid to say this? Where is the influence coming from, and why are we being told this? Now, usually when you follow the money, you'll find where the information came from, who's being paid, why they're being paid, and what message that money is aiming to get across. It's really interesting when you start doing that, though, when you find out how many things that we believe to be true are just opinion being influenced by somebody who's going to make a lot of money from that opinion, from that influence. And this, it could make me sad. It doesn't, because I can't change what's happening in the world. But I get really excited about this, because if you're a critical thinker, if you analyze everything, if you study and research everything, and most importantly, as an exercise professional, this is where I get really excited. When you know your anatomy and physiology, when you know what the body's made of and how the body works, it's really fun to analyze the rubbish, the information, the opinions, the stuff that we're bombarded with every day on social media, in the media, by other people who have such strong opinions. But when you analyze from it, and that's the beautiful thing about anatomy and physiology, it hasn't changed. Social media has infiltrated the world. People's opinions have spread throughout the world very, very fast. But anatomy and physiology hasn't changed, and particularly anatomy. There are some new innovations and some new insights and some new exciting things being discovered when it comes to physiology, but anatomy is the same. We haven't grown another heart, we haven't got 4 patellas instead of 2, we haven't got 25 toes instead of 10. Anatomy is the same. So when you understand your anatomy and physiology, even at a basic level, you can then start analysing. So when somebody throws a diet at you, and that's why I'm in the kitchen, because we are filled with, social media is so full of what you can have, can't have, mustn't have, shouldn't have, don't have, what's going to kill you, what's going to make you live longer. But what's really fascinating to me, and I do this every day because it's what I do for a living, is one person says if you do this you'll live a long time, and the exact same information by another person says if you do that you'll die early. So who do you believe? And that comes back to my philosophy. Don't believe anybody. Don't believe anybody or anything. I'm a positive, happy, I want the world to be a beautiful place, but I'm also a realist. And I understand that it doesn't matter which expert, which opinion, what people are saying, there's an underlying reason for it. And I'll just give you a simple example. Have you ever received a text message from somebody and thought that's a really nasty message? Or you've received a text message from somebody and you thought it was a really happy message and you had it wrong? Here's another one. Somebody sends you a message and says, we need to talk, or your boss says, come to my office, we need to talk. We usually go into the negative because wherever our headspace is at the time, if my boss wants to talk to me, it must be a bad thing, instead of my boss wants to talk to me, they must want to praise me and give me a raise. We don't know what other people are thinking. We don't know why other people do things. And now we live in a world where most of what we do, or the most of the consuming that we do, is in words. So text messages, emails, posts. We don't know where those people are coming from. We've got words, but we don't know the meaning behind the words, the reason behind the words, the emotion behind the words. And that's just a classic example of communication. All the communication experts and behavioural scientists will tell you that our words are a very tiny percentage of our communication. Your facial expressions, your body language, your voice intonation adds a whole heap of difference to those words. And then if you add to that the kind of person who's delivering those words. So someone can deliver great words and they can deliver them in a great way with body language and voice intonation, and that it all looks good, but they're coming from a really bad place because they've been trained in communication skills to try and brainwash you to believe a certain thing so they can. And that's all I'm asking. I want to be a critical thinker. I want to study for myself. I don't want to be led down some garden path by a social media influencer. And in fact, I'm the opposite. I'm the person who, if everybody's wearing that and everybody's doing that and everybody's listening to that and everybody's saying a certain thing, I don't want to be part of that. And I learned this a very long time ago, and this is something that I would love our teenagers in particular to get this message. Who are you? What do you want your reputation to be? What do you stand for? What do you believe in? And then I always say, pick 5 words. And I did this at 18 years of age. Rowie, pick 5 words to describe you as a person. Pick 5 words that you want to be for the rest of your life. Pick 5 words that you want your reputation to be. Mine were tough and fair, positive, stylish, disciplined and professional. I've stuck with that since I was 18 years of age, and now I'm a very old lady. And it's been great fun to live my life like that because I haven't been influenced by the world. I've just been influenced by Rowie. Who are you? Would a tough and fair, positive, stylish, disciplined, professional woman do this, think this, act that way, say that, be that kind of a person? If the answer is no, then I don't do it. Now, you can live your life however you want to. But wouldn't it be nice? This is just a bit careful with the word but, because usually everything that comes before but is something that you don't believe. But I want to be the person that thinks for myself. I want our kids to be critical thinkers. I want to be a unique individual person who isn't influenced by somebody else's opinion, by their desire to make money, to sell me something. So who are you? What do you stand for? What do you believe in? Words to describe you as a person. Be that person. And then be very careful about what you believe from social media, from whatever, ask yourself, and again, my philosophy, don't believe anything. Study it, research it, analyze it for yourself. Because those numbers that you see on social media, oh, this person's got 1 million followers or 10 million followers, and I think now we've got songs that have had 1 billion listens. We're into some very big numbers now. But as a businesswoman, I'm literally every day bombarded with multiple numbers of emails and text messages and posts to say, Rowie, we can get you 1,000 subscribers a day. We can sell you 1 million subscribers a month. You just have to pay us this money, and our robots or our little group of people in some bizarre country where they're getting paid nothing to do it will subscribe to your channel. They will like what you say, and you can have thousands and if not millions of subscribers. Now, there's two parts to that. I'm very, very proud of the fact that I live in a life where I can never be bought. My gorgeous husband, who is a published research scientist, the most logical, common sense, intelligent man I've ever met. He has influence in the world because of his very in-depth understanding of anatomy and physiology, but he can't be bought. And we've been joking about this for a very long time. If somebody offered him $1 billion to sell a product he didn't believe in, he wouldn't do it. So I'm going to ask you, where do you stand on that? If somebody offered you hundreds of thousands, millions, or $1 billion to sell something, would you do it? And why would you do it? Because that would mean if it's a product that you believe in, I still don't want to get paid to sell a product that I believe in, because that now it's got money attached to it. For me, that's a really important thing. So I can't be bought. My gorgeous husband can't be bought. But we go down a different track with that, because somebody said this to him once and we laugh about it all the time. Okay, but what if I held a gun to your head and said, if you don't sell this product, we'll kill you? And of course, K-Man just said, you can kill me because I'm not going to sell something I don't believe in. I'd rather die. So then they took it a step further and said, what if we held a gun to Rowie's head and said, we're going to kill Rowie if you don't sell this product for us? And the answer was exactly the same. And this is why I'm so proud of who I am and what we stand for. K-Man said you would have to kill her, because if you didn't kill her and I sold a product that I didn't believe in, she wouldn't want to be married to me anyway, because she knows then that I could be bought. Now that's a very extreme example, but I'm sharing that with you because there are very few people in the world who stand for something. Most people can be bought, most people can be influenced, most people believe what they see and then they regurgitate it as their own opinion, and I don't want to be the regurgitator of other people's opinion. How about you? So if you really want to live your life to the max, be you. What do you stand for? What do you believe in? What would you die for? And then you probably will be able to live your life to the max as a very, very happy person. Woo! Live your life to the max.